Good morning, and welcome to Orange Coast Unitarian Universalist Church. My name is Linda Sperry, and I'm your worship associate today. I'm joined by Michael Eselun, our guest speaker, who is very popular, as you can see, with all the people in the audience this morning, and Steve Morihiro and Susan Shaw, who are our co-directors of music ministries. Danielle Lewis, our director of religious education for children and youth, and Reverend Sean Wilshire, our minister, are with us in spirit, but not in body. And Reverend Sean joins us in welcoming you in this video.
Hello, everyone. Well, I may not be there in body, but I am there with you in spirit. And this spirit has planned a wonderful worship service for you today. Well, I didn't do it, actually. It's Michael Eselun is here. He is one of our absolute favorites, beloved by so many. In fact, I think he has a little posse of people who follow him wherever he goes. So hi and welcome. So at any rate, I want you to have a wonderful time. Michael, thank you so much for being here and being one of our favorites. You just have such a beautiful heart and a beautiful way of expressing it. So see you all soon and have a wonderful July.
And Sean, we always look forward to having Michael join us here at Orange Coast. He just shared with me that he's been here 18 times. So I guess we like him, right? For those of you who are new and might like to know a little more about his background, he serves as chaplain for the Sims-Mann UCLA Center for Integrative Oncology. He's a two-time TEDx speaker who speaks extensively to healthcare professionals, patient populations, and faith communities across the country. He serves as an adjunct faculty at the Wiesenthal Center Museum of Tolerance and has also worked as an activist, educator addressing anti-LGBTQ bias in the larger community for over 30 years. His website is michaeleselun.com, which is easy to remember, and he has some materials out there on the table if you would like to meet him out there afterwards and take a look at some of his wonderful CDs and other materials. So, welcome back, Michael. And speaking of 30 years, whether you've been here at Orange Coast 30 years or 3, 10 months or 10 minutes, and whether you strolled, rolled, zoomed, ran, or danced in, we're glad that you have joined us. We want to extend a special welcome to visitors and hope that if you're seeking a spiritual home, that you'll find it here. We are a community of many different beliefs. We are bound together not by dogmas or creeds, but rather a covenant to create a welcoming and loving community. We need not think alike to love alike. In the spirit of building the community, let's recognize the many volunteers who have helped put this service together today. It takes a lot. Thank you all. Roomers, we invite you to silence your cell phones. You don't want to be the one that has the duck quacking in the middle of the service. Believe it or not, we've had that happen before. And Zoomers, we invite you to say hello in the chat. As we worship today, let us acknowledge that our church property rests on the sacred ancestral homelands of the Acjachemen and Tongva peoples who seek justice and responsibility. So we start our worship service with the lighting of our chalice. And this morning I'd like to invite Jim Olson and Marty Miles, who are longtime Unitarians, and our house guests this weekend. So, you know, it's a little trade-off here. This is their... So they started their Unitarian journey when Karen Stoyanov, our minister emeritus, was at the Victoria Street Church. At five years that they were here, and Marty was a member of the choir, very active, and Jim did a little of everything. So thank you both so much. So join me. Thank you. Join me as we light our chalice and say together, love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. To give together in peace, to seek truth and love, and to help one another. This we affirm together. Please rise in body or spirit and join in singing our opening song.
As a call to worship this morning, I'd like to offer these few words by William Blake. It is right and should be so. Man was made for joy and woe. And when this right we rightly know, through the world we safely go. Joy and woe are woven fine, a clothing for the soul divine. Under every grief and pine runs a joy with silken twine.
Yesterday a child came out to wander, caught a dragonfly inside a jar. Tearful when the sky was full of thunder, and fearful at the falling of a star. And the seasons, they go round and round, and the painted ponies go up and down. We're captive on the carousel of time. We can't return, we can only look behind from where we came, and go round and round and round in the circle game. Then the child moved 10 times round the seasons, skated over 10 clear frozen streams. Words like, when you're older, must appease him, and promises of someday make his dreams. And the seasons, they go round and round, and the painted ponies go up and down. We're captive on the carousel of time. We can't return, we can only look behind from where we came, and go round and round and round in the circle game. 16 springs and 16 summers gone now, cartwheels turn to car wheels through the town. And they tell him, take your time, it won't be long now, till you drag your feet too slow, the circle's down. And the seasons, they go round and round, and the painted ponies go up and down. We're captive on the carousel of time. We can't return, we can only look behind from where we came, and go round and round and round in the circle game. So the years spin by, now the boy is 20, though his dreams have lost some grandeur coming true. There'll be new dreams, maybe better dreams, and plenty before the last revolving year is through. And the seasons, they go round and round, and the painted ponies go up and down. We're captive on the carousel of time. We can't return, we can only look behind from where we came, and go round and round and round in the circle game. And go round and round and round in the circle game.
Book Root Reading!
Welcome to Book Root Readings, your channel for classic, nature, and living children's books. Click the subscribe button to be notified of new readings. Enjoy the story. Extra Yarn by Mac Barnett, illustrated by John Klassen. For Stephen Malk, M.B. For Mom, J.K. On a cold afternoon, in a cold little town, where everywhere you looked was either the white of snow or the black of soot from chimneys, Annabelle found a box filled with yarn of every color. So she went home and knit herself a sweater, and when Annabelle was done, she had some extra yarn. So she knit a sweater for Mars too, but there was still extra yarn. And when Annabelle and Mars went for a walk, Nate pointed and laughed and said, "Ha ha, you two look ridiculous,"
You're just jealous.
said Annabelle. "No, I'm not," said Nate. But it turned out he was. And even after she'd made a sweater for Nate and his dog, and for herself, and for Mars, she still had extra yarn. At school, Annabelle's classmates could not stop talking about her sweater. "Quiet!" shouted Mr. Norman. "Quiet, everyone! Annabelle, that sweater of yours is a terrible distraction. I cannot teach with everyone turning around to look at you,"
Then I'll knit one for everyone,
Annabelle said.
so they won't have to turn around.
"Impossible," said Mr. Norman. "You can't." But it turned out she could, and she did. Even for Mr. Norman. And when she was done, Annabelle still had extra yarn. So she knit sweaters for her mom and dad, and for Mr. Pendleton, and Mrs. Pendleton, and for Dr. Palmer, and for little Louis. She made sweaters for everyone, except Mr. Crabtree, who never wore sweaters or even long pants, and who would stand in his shorts with the snow up to his knees. "No sweater for me, thanks," said Mr. Crabtree. So she made Mr. Crabtree a hat, and even then, Annabelle still had extra yarn. She made sweaters for all the dogs, and all the cats, and for other animals too. Soon, people thought, soon Annabelle will run out of yarn. But it turned out she didn't. So Annabelle made sweaters for things that didn't even wear sweaters. Things began to change in that little town. News spread of this remarkable girl who never ran out of yarn, and people came to visit from around the world to see all the sweaters and to shake Annabelle's hand. One day, an archduke who was very fond of clothes sailed across the sea and demanded to see Annabelle. "Little girl," said the archduke, "I would like to buy that miraculous box of yarn, and I am willing to offer you $1,000,000.
No, thank you.
Said Annabelle, who was knitting a sweater for a pickup truck. The archduke's mustache twitched. $2,000,000, he said. Annabelle shook her head.
No, thanks.
$10,000,000, shouted the archduke. Take it or leave it,
Leave it.
said Annabelle.
I won't sew the yarn.
And she didn't. So that night, the archduke hired 3 robbers to break into Annabelle's house, and they stole the box and took it to the archduke, who set off across the snow and sailed over the sea back to his castle. The archduke put on his favorite song and sat in his best chair. Then he took out the box, and he lifted its lid, and he looked inside. His mustache quivered. It shivered. It trembled. The archduke hurled the box out the window and shouted, "Little girl, I curse you with my family's curse. You will never be happy again." But it turned out she was.
So Maria Good and Tom Lockery will be leading our RE group this morning, and I'd like to invite them to light the children's chalice and then lead the children out as we sing.
As a reading this morning, I'd like to offer this from Parker J. Palmer. It's called Everything Falls Away. Sooner or later, everything falls away. You, the work you've done, your successes, large and small, your failures too. Those moments when you were light alongside the times you became one with the night. The friends, the people you loved, who loved you, those who might have wished you ill. None of this is forever. All of it is soon to go, or going, or long gone. Everything falls away, except the thread you followed, unknowing, all along. The thread that strings together all you've been and done. The thread you didn't know you were tracking, until toward the end you see that the thread is what stays as everything else falls away. Follow that thread as far as you can, and you'll find it does not end, but weaves into the unimaginable vastness of life. Your life never was the solo turn it seemed to be. It was always part of the great weave of nature and humanity and immensity. We come to know it only as we follow our own small threads to the place where they merge, where the boundaries, with the boundless whole. Each of our threads runs its course, then joins in life together, this magnificent tapestry, this masterpiece in which we live forever. I invite us to close our eyes, get comfortable in our seats as we move into a time of silent contemplation. Let's just take a few nice deep breaths together. As we breathe into that silence, I invite you to let the words of Wendell Berry wash over you and seep inside. It may be that when we no longer know what to do, we've come to our real work, and that when we no longer know which way to go, we've come to our real journey. The mind that is not baffled is not employed. The impeded stream is the one that sings. Well, good morning, and thank you for that lovely welcome earlier. As an oncology chaplain, sometimes when I'm getting acquainted with a patient for the first time, I will often ask, tell me, what's a perfect day look like for you? Before you got sick, you don't have to work, you're feeling pretty good, what would that day be? My intention is to find out in a quick and easy way what floats their boat, where they get their juice in life. Where do they find meaning? And it can often be a revealing answer. Although sometimes I admit I do sit in judgment when someone fumbles for an answer. Oh, I don't know, watching TV, I guess. Carl took no time at all to respond, newly diagnosed with lung cancer. Oh, watching my son play soccer and then taking him out for an ice cream. That answer reveals so much, doesn't it? A few years ago, I had a patient, Casey, who used to come to the weekly spiritual support group that I lead. And one year she gave me, as a holiday gift, a little teeny spool of thread written up with a poem, wrapped up with a poem by William Stafford. The poem's called The Way It Is. There's a thread you follow. It runs among things that change, but it doesn't change. People wonder about what you are pursuing. You have to explain about the thread, but it's hard for others to see. While you're holding it, you can't get lost. Tragedies happen. People get hurt or die. You suffer and grow old. Nothing you do can stop time's unfolding. You don't ever let go of the thread. Such a beautifully succinct summation, isn't it? And what a beautiful, tender gift she gave me. Carl had no trouble at all identifying his thread. Would you? What would yours be, do you suppose? The older I get, the more my story unfolds, I find myself wondering if it's really as simple as all that. Is it as clean as all that? Is that thread really unbreakable? Is it really unchanging? I thought I had a good grip on it, but then divorce happened, or cancer, or bankruptcy, or Parkinson's disease, or the career that seemed to define me. It vanished. Do I have to find a new thread now? Or am I simply to redefine the old one? Or is it enough to surrender to my faith in the idea that the damn thread exists in the first place? If the thread does exist, and I like to believe that it does, it can be an arduous journey, a process of distillation to drill down and find it. A process that can take years, if not decades, I find. That kind of spiritual distillation, if you will, is a challenge that confronts nearly everyone on the cancer journey. If I can no longer be, do, or have what I once was, who would I even be then? Do I still exist? If I'm no longer the super mom who never misses a soccer game or a birthday party, am I even still the mom? And yet, while I do have a good grip on that thread, it can serve as a kind of guy wire stabilizing me in stormy times. But I also wonder if it might be conceptualized not just as a thread to run through our life or beneath our life, but what about a thread to wrap around our life, to hold it together, to give it some coherence, to help us find a place for all the disparate pieces of our puzzle, a puzzle that might have to be arranged and rearranged time and again, because life demands it. Still, it can be an arduous journey to drill down and identify it. My sister Terry was a pioneer in women's surfing in the 1960s and 70s, competing at the national level. She even co-produced and co-directed the first professional women's surfing championship in 1975, the Hang 10 Invitational in Malibu. She's 76 years old now, and she still loves to surf, though it grieves her, as you might imagine, that she can't do all the things she once could, certainly not as easily. She told me that not long ago she bumped into an old surfing chum from back in the day at the beach, and they were bemoaning this particular state of affairs. And he said, "Terry, you know what I came to realize? It was always just about getting wet." I love that. I thought it was about thrills, big waves, competition, winning. No, it was really just about getting wet. That's distillation. As an old former professional dancer, I confront the very same challenge every Saturday in dance class, coming face to face with the limitations of a body that will not do what it once could. It's not easy. But a number of years ago, I came to a different relationship with those limitations that has everything to do with essence. I have never seen a dance performance that knocked me in the gut with more power, more intensity than Donna McKechnie in the original Broadway production of A Chorus Line at the Schubert Theater in New York City, 1976. That was some kind of heady experience for this 20-year-old young, aspiring professional dancer from Los Angeles on his first trip to New York City. Kind of transcendent, actually. Well, a number of years ago, Donna performed at an AIDS benefit in Los Angeles. She was maybe in her 60s at the time. She'd put on quite a bit of weight. She wore a big flowing caftan-like dress. She offered a highly truncated version of her tour de force from A Chorus Line, The Music in the Mirror. Oh, there were echoes of the original choreography, remnants, a head flick, an arm gesture, hitting a line. I sat in my seat and just sobbed. Not out of sadness or sorrow for what was lost or missing, but crying at the unmistakable beauty of essence, of her essence, an essence that might have even been camouflaged once upon a time by her youth and agility. In some ways, it was a more potent, more meaningful performance than had she been soaring across that stage at the Schubert in front of that bank of mirrors in that red dress. Distillation. I had been told that Keith had been a brilliant architect, but when I met him months after his glioblastoma diagnosis, that brain tumor had robbed him of all that brilliance. He found it nearly impossible to compose a coherent sentence. Still, he loved to see me every week, and we'd spend an hour, hard to have a conversation. There was one sentence he used quite readily and often, however. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. As if his whole essence had been distilled down to a sense of apology for not being who he once was, for not being able to communicate as clearly. I finally had to lay down the law. Keith, one rule in here: no more I'm sorry, no apology. We can spend this hour any way you like. We can sit in silence and meditate. We can just look at each other. We can cry. We can try to talk. We can pray, but no, I'm sorry. This has to be one place where you don't feel like there's one other person you're letting down. Certainly not me. I never got to know Keith in the context of his brilliance, and yet I kind of fell in love with the guy, with the sweetness of his smile, his tender heart, his gentle spirit. Distillation. While it can indeed be a challenging journey to identify that thread, finding a way for it to wrap around our story, to hold it together, is another matter altogether. Particularly if we've endured some kind of tragedy, some catastrophe. Such losses often demand that we let go of so much. Most particularly, our expectations of how we thought life should be, could be, wanted it to be, hoped it would be. Sometimes we even have to let go of hope altogether. In some situations, there is no getting better. Things will not get better, guaranteed to get worse. Is it still possible to find a way to wrap that thread around our story, at least enough to give us what we need to take the next few steps that life demands of us? A year ago, last October, I got to take a wonderful 2-week solo journey to Turkey, and there I got a vivid reminder of something I've long known to be true. There's the thing, and there's our experience of the thing, and they're not the same thing. Ask anyone, and they will tell you one of the primo sights to see in all of Turkey is the Blue Mosque in Istanbul, and it is indeed magnificent. But on that particular Sunday morning, after waiting in an impossibly long line, going through security, navigating the hordes of visitors inside, my experience of the place did not begin to match the majesty, the grandeur of the architecture. By contrast, I had a far more meaningful, potent, even tearful experience visiting this far more modest, 13th century wooden mosque called Eselun in a teeny village called Beshahir. The experience is distinct from the thing itself. For over 25 years, I served as a co-director and co-founder of GLIDE, Gays and Lesbians Initiating Dialogue for Equality. We were an all-volunteer anti-homophobia speakers bureau, and in those 20 plus years, I trained dozens and dozens of speakers. Each speaker had to craft their own coming out story to use as part of the engagement. And I would always invite them, encourage them, please share your experience, not your story. Your story is just the facts. I came out to my mom when I was 16. Your experience, on the other hand, might sound like, for me, coming out to my mom was the big one because I stood the most to lose there. If my mom rejected me, I was in trouble. I was so scared. Following that through line of our experience, of our own story, might lead us to our thread, no matter how we interpret it. And that's the thing. It's always up to us to interpret, reinterpret that thread again and again as life unfolds. Esther was a brilliant woman, an art historian, a scholar, a professor, a curator. She was a luminous spirit. I met her for the first time on her first day of chemotherapy, being treated for ovarian cancer. At the end of our visit, I was so captivated, I was ready to quit my job then and there just to go back to school and study German Expressionism under Esther. Her spirit was that infectious. Well, after decades of scholarship and research, she was offered the chance of a lifetime, a dream come true. She was invited to curate a major retrospective of the German Expressionist master painter Max Beckmann at a world-class museum, something she had dreamt of. But the thing is, these things need to be planned a few years in advance. Could she make that commitment, given her diagnosis, given this treatment regimen? She wrestled with all the questions, as you might imagine, but Michael, maybe I need to say yes, because maybe that's just the affirmation my body needs to heal. What do you think? Sadly, her disease progressed at such a rate that she had to decline the invitation. As we wandered through the rubble of her loss, we looked at what was the real loss here. And was it lost? Was the essence of this thing the recognition or the world-class museum? Was it even about the art itself? Or was it about her passion and her capacity to inspire, as she had done countless students, myself? One graduate student even changed her thesis, her whole course of study, after one class with Esther. That passion, that capacity to inspire, is not something that can be lost. What if that were her version of getting wet? What if that's the thread that could wrap around her whole life story and hold it together? As tragic as the ending was. A few years ago, I came upon an essay in the Atlantic in which the essayist drew a distinction between obituary virtues and eulogy virtues. Obituaries, when you think about it, kind of read like a resume. Just the facts. He was born here, went to school there, married this person, had these kids, worked here, won these awards, retired, loved to play golf, and then he died. Eulogies, on the other hand, often reveal a far more nuanced version, multidimensional view of who a person was. He was a guy who always made me laugh, no matter what. He was the one who'd show up to help you move or paint your living room without being asked. Through one lens, our obituary might be the story of our life, and the eulogy is maybe our translation of the story. How did we interpret that story and use it as a way to engage with life around us? What do you suppose your lives would look like, our lives would look like, if we recalibrated them to focus on eulogy virtues rather than obituary virtues, just another box to be checked? Following that through line of eulogy virtues through our life story might just lead us to a way to wrap that thread around our story. You know how some people, myself included, God knows, will post pictures on social media, Facebook, what have you, of a beloved dog or cat, asking for prayers and good wishes as their furry friend faces some kind of health crisis. Your heart breaks for them. And then in a few weeks or a few days, there's another picture as our friend shares their inconsolable grief over having had to say goodbye to their beloved family member. You kind of die a little bit for them. You remember when it was your turn at that rodeo, or you live in utter dread of what's coming down the pike for you and your fur baby. And then in a month or 2 or 3, there's another picture, or 12, of the most adorable puppy or kitten. Meet Oscar, everybody. I'm so in love. Have you ever seen anything so cute in your life? I sometimes wonder if the specificity of that adorable puppy or kitten matters at all. What matters is this deeper love, this longing we carry that needs to be given away. And this is the little guy who showed up, so we're just going to love each other forever, and that's that. I certainly don't mean to denigrate the uniqueness of any of our fur babies, God knows. But this love is bigger. This bigger love, it's bigger than our love for our beloved old dog, our beloved old cat, or this sweet kitten or puppy. It's bigger than all of us. That bigger love might be the very thing that's at the end of all of our threads. The sweet, uncomplicated, uncompromising love I felt from my Grandma Ann certainly points me in the direction of my thread, if it isn't the thread itself. She's been dead for over 35 years, and yet it's her voice I still hear so vividly in my head. I carry it in my heart. She lived a hard life, grew up in a very poor, large Italian Catholic family, 10 siblings, beaten regularly by her father. After one such beating by my great-grandfather, he broke a shovel across her back. She'd had enough, and she ran away that night into the arms of the young man who would become my grandfather, for no other reason than he was there. She was 15 years old. If that shovel hadn't broken, I wouldn't be here. That marriage didn't last too long, but it brought 3 kids into the world. But to my grandmother's credit, undaunted for the rest of her life, she never stopped looking for love, and she gave it away in abundance to her kids, her grandkids, her great-grandkids, her friends. My mom and I used to chuckle, reminiscing about my grandma and how she'd respond when you told her about some tragedy or loss that had happened into your life. She'd listen very carefully, and then the most she would say sometimes is just, well, keep your chin up, dearie. Said with all the love and compassion she could muster. It wasn't not as nearly as flip as it might sound. I think it actually reflects a kind of hard-won wisdom that she would have been hard-pressed to articulate, but a wisdom as if to say, I know there's nothing I can do or say to make this any better, so I'm not going to insult you by pretending there is and saying it. I just want you to know I love you so much. I don't want you to hurt. I want you to be happy. So the best I got is keep your chin up, dearie. Sometimes a patient will ask me for a prayer or blessing, and I will often include this. May we keep our eyes and hearts open to recognize blessings that we don't know we're looking for. May that be so. I don't know, though. In the meantime, keep your chin up, dearie. So be it.
Please rise in body or spirit and join us in singing our returning song.
We laugh, we cry, we our song. We need to feel there's something here to which we can belong. We need to feel the freedom just to have some time alone. But most of all, we need close friends we can call our very own. And we believe in life and in the strength of love. And we have found a need to be together. We have our hearts to give. We have our thoughts to receive. And we believe that sharing is an answer. Our lives are full of wonder and our time is very brief. The death of one among us fills us all with pain and grief. But as we live, so shall we die, and when our lives are done, the memories we share with friends, they will linger on, and we believe in life and in the strength of love, and we have found a place to be together. We have the right to grow. We have the gift to believe that this our living is an answer. We seek elusive answers to the questions of this life. We seek to put an end to all the waste of human strife. We search for truth, equality, and blessed peace of mind. And then we come together here to make sense of what we find. And we believe in life and in the strength of love. And we have found a joy being together. And in our search for peace, maybe we'll finally see, even to question truly is an answer.
Unitarian Universalist congregations are fully self-supporting, meaning that members and friends raise all funds for the operating budget, ministries, and programs of the church. We are ever grateful for your gifts of time, treasure, and talent. OCUUC amplifies that spirit of generosity by sharing half of the plate we receive with an organization that shares our values. This month of June, we are sharing with Share Ourselves. Share Ourselves is a healthcare organization that provides comprehensive health and support services for the entire community with locations around Orange County, including right across the street at 1650 Adams Avenue in their new building. There are multiple ways in which you can support the church and Share Ourselves. You can mail a check, you can go through our website, or use an app called Vanco Mobile. If you are a roomer, you can also simply use the basket as it's passed by Sandy and Eric, our ushers for today. The choice is yours. All the information is on our website should you need it. And as always, thank you for your generosity.
Of angel hair and ice cream castles in the air and further canyons everywhere. I've looked at clouds that way, but now they only block the sun. There rain and snow on everyone. So clouds got in the way. I've looked at clouds from both sides now, from up and down, and still somehow it's clouds, illusions I recall. I really don't know clouds at all. Moons and Junes and Ferris wheels, the dizzy dancing where you feel, and every fairy tale comes real. I've looked at love that way, but now it's just another show. They leave 'em laughing when you go, and if you care, don't let them know. Don't give yourself away. I've looked at love from both sides now, from give and take, and still somehow it's love's illusions I recall. I really don't know love at all. Tears and fears and feeling proud to say I love you right out loud. Dreams and schemes and circus crowds, I've looked at life that way, but now old friends are acting strange. They shake their heads, they say I've changed. Well, something's lost, but something's gained in living every day. I've looked at life from both sides now, from win and lose, and still somehow it's life's illusions I recall. I really don't know life at all.
Thank you, Susan. That was beautiful. Please join us. Oh, I'm sorry. I skipped around a little bit here. Please join us in singing We Gather Together, a song that expresses our gratitude for the gifts that we share. Now is the time that we honor the important events and people in our lives. We invite all of you to participate in this weekly ritual called Joys and Sorrows. I'd like to ask Lori Kluge to come up to help assist. Lori is one of our pastoral care team members. If you come here today holding something close to your heart, moments from the last day, week, or hours that have struck you at your core, we invite you to be a part of this weekly ritual. If you are a roomer and would like to honor profound joy or sorrow, we invite you to light a candle in front here with Lori. If you would like to share your joy or sorrow in writing, just raise your hand and Sandy and Eric will bring a slip of paper for you to fill out. You can write down your joy or sorrow and hand it to me here at the podium, and I'll read it out loud when the time comes. If you are a Zoomer, you're invited to write your joy or sorrow in the chat. Lori will light a candle for you, and we will read your joys and concerns out loud after all the candles have been lit. And Craig, where are you? He's going to help me with the, thank you, my assistant. So as the music is played, please come forward.
Morning, everyone. Hello, Zoomers. So we have from Linda C., our son and daughter-in-law's dog, our grand dog, Roxy, crossed the Rainbow Bridge on Tuesday after 13 years of bringing her love and compassion to everyone she met. From Craig P., a joy from Craig P. for the 11 UUs that rode the train at Fairview Park last Sunday as part of our auction lunch with Tongva Flair. And then finally, Anna says, wishing my good friend Sean health and wellness on his healing journey. That's all.
So we have a number of joys and concerns this morning. One that we got this week from Ginger Luke, who is the wife of Don Cherry. And Don is someone who's visited our congregation for many years and usually sits back there by Sandy and Don. And he passed away. She let us know. He has been very supportive of the sanctuary and everything that we're doing here. His son and his family live here, and he's visited quite a bit. So we will miss Don and his visits. We have a sorrow or hope from Jill, her mom and dad, Hannah and Claire. From Jenny, she lit a candle of remembrance in memory of her mother who died 2 months ago. From Kristen, a joy. She just wanted to say happy birthday to my brother Joe, one of my favorite people in the world, and my brother-in-law David, also one of my favorite people. How nice. Leanna has a joy, my mother's 75th birthday, and these flowers are in her honor by Sandy. Sandy, you outdo yourself every week. 75 years and the best mom and grandmother Lucas and I could ever dream of. How sweet. Nina and Janine, a joy, a big joy. Our son Sam, who is 16, met his birth mother yesterday for the first time. It was beautiful, exclamation mark. We are still helping him find his thread in life. What a joy. This is from Beth, and it's a sorrow. My dear friend Jackie, as she travels the journey of dementia with her husband Scott. This is from Elizabeth K. Happy birthday to Maria Good. Congratulations on your milestone birthday. 20 times 3 rotations around the sun. Yeah, well, people are doing the math as we speak. And from Judith, OCUC has some money left from past Share Ourselves projects. We are giving that money to them for their Jean Forbath Fund, named for their founder. That's wonderful. And from Meg, please hold Dolly Duran in your heart as she settles into assisted living, and also send healing thoughts to Shirley as she recovers from a recent episode and being admitted to Hoag. She's home in the care of her daughter, Wendy. A huge joy for me, Meg, having celebrated my, shall I use, 20 times, whatever. She's still 30 at heart, though. At Disneyland with my family and grandchildren, 9 and 7 years old, and she's still standing today. Big Mountain Railroad ride is still my favorite. Good for you, Meg. That's a good one. Let's see here. Do we have any others that we need to add? Oh, I forgot. Paul Gethard, who is on Zoom, is 93. And as our rule is about singing happy birthday, if anyone's over 90, we're going to sing happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Paul. Happy birthday to
I think we have another one.
We have 2 more from the Zoomers. Francie C. says the flowers for today also are for Maria's birthday. I guess those flowers. And then finally from Sarah H. Happy birthday.
Let us hold in love all the joys and celebrations, all the hurts and sadness, whether spoken or unspoken. And let our joys remind us to be thankful, our concerns remind us to hope, and our sorrows remind us to connect. All these moments remind us that we are not alone. Now I'd like to ask Lori to lead us in prayer and meditation.
If here you have found freedom, take it with you into the world. If you have found comfort, go and share it with others. If you have dreamed dreams, help one another that they may come true. If you have known love, give some back to a bruised and hurting world. Take courage, go in peace. Amen.
Thank you, Lori. Let us join together as we extinguish the flame of our chalice and say together, we extinguish our chalice, that not the light of truth, the warmth of communion, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Thank you for joining us this morning. If you're a guest, a visitor, or someone who hasn't yet been known to us, we invite you to be a part of this beloved community. If you would like to know more about our church, we invite you to chat after the service with somebody that's sitting around by you, because I'm sure they'd love to share more about the church, or stop by the welcome table in the courtyard, or contact us online at ocuuc.org. Thank you, Patrick. That's always fun. Zoomers are welcome to stay after and chat with each other online. We want everyone to feel a part of this beloved community, so please reach out and we'll help you get connected. Announcements for today. We have a few things going on. A big up-and-coming event is on September 6th and 7th. Hopefully you got your emails and your different mailings that have gone out. It's going to be a time to celebrate. And I think that after church, maybe we'll be able to go take a look at the progress. If you notice the striping in the parking lot and how nice it looks. And I've been really ragging about the blue in the front, the paint. I'm so happy about that. Thank you, Nancy. Whoever did it, thank you, thank you. Okay, so Michael.
I invite us to close our eyes once again and just breathe. Lots happening this morning. Breathing in the love, the intention, the commitment of this community to come together and to connect. And as we exhale, can we release the light and the radiance of our coming together, not only back to each other, but to the larger circles of life. As we move forward from here back into our lives, may we keep our eyes open for the thread, realizing at times it may be slippery, easy to miss, but it's strong. May it guide us always to the place of bigger love. So be it.
So our service is over. Let your service begin out in the community.